morning, everyone.
What's up, man? How are you? Good.
All right, good to see you. How are you? All right, we good? Good morning. Chloe, we ready? All right. Good morning. As Yogi Berra liked to say, it's deja vu all over again. Here we are back out in front of a court case on congestion pricing where opponents, including the Trump administration, are bringing bogus arguments. But we are confident that congestion pricing will prevail. Because we're right on the law, we're right on the facts. Congestion pricing is working. And now it's deja vu all over again, also on President Trump and Secretary Duffy's hollow threats to New York City, even though they know their own lawyers told them their case is weak and that congestion pricing is on strong legal footing. They are trying to use threats to take away New York's transportation dollars, as they have been threatening everyone's dollars all over the country. And we are here to say, not on our watch. Congestion pricing is going to win in court. Congestion pricing is working in the streets and subways of New York City. Congestion pricing is delivering for New Yorkers. And now we can say congestion pricing is popular. Let's look at the facts first, just because it's worth remembering just how well congestion pricing is working. Traffic is down an average of 12%. Crossings are down in their times that it takes people to make them 10 to 30%. Car crashes are down. Bus ridership is up. Subway ridership is up. Pedestrian foot traffic and business are up. My favorite, noise complaints are down from traffic are down 45%. New Yorkers are seeing and feeling and hearing that congestion pricing is working, and that is why it is getting more popular since it was implemented. Now, I don't know about you, Congressman, but I have never heard an argument that, like, something doesn't poll well as a legal argument for the fact that you should be able to kill it anyway. It seems to me when your lawyers have told you all your arguments are bogus, you make up even more bogus arguments, apparently, if you're the Trump administration. But somehow one of the arguments that they have made is that congestion pricing should be canceled because people don't like it, even though it is on solid legal ground and even though it's working. But even here, the Trump administration arguments are bogus because the reality is, since congestion pricing was implemented, 6 out of 10 New Yorkers in the congestion zone support it. There's been a 10% surge in popularity statewide in the latest Siena poll, and we are standing today with people who are about to go into the courtroom to make clear to Judge Lyman that not only is congestion pricing on strong legal footing, not only is congestion pricing working to reduce congestion and invest in our subways and transportation, but congestion pricing increasingly is popular. So let's hear it for everybody who's out here this morning, who's been fighting to bring less congested streets, cleaner air, and investments in mass transit to New York City for years, who helped get it implemented last year, and who are going to be out here every time there's a court hearing, every time Trump threatens the funding, and every time we need to stand up to get it implemented. So we've got a great lineup this morning, and a bunch of folks are not going to be able to stick with us too long because they are filing into the courtroom, because as much as we want to win in the court of public opinion, we want to win even more in federal court to make sure congestion pricing will continue. So I am going to introduce the elected officials who are here this morning. They will speak, and if then we have some time after the elected officials and before the court case begins, some of the advocates will speak as well. But it is now my distinct pleasure to introduce the person who has been our federal champion, our champion in Congress, somebody who knows the Constitution, who knows the law, and who has been fighting at that intersection of the Constitution and transportation infrastructure longer than I think the rest of us combined. New York City's Congressman and the Dean of our congressional delegation, Jerry Nadler.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you to Comptroller Brad Landa for gathering us here this morning, and to my fellow elected officials and advocates who've taken to the streets today to send a clear message to President Trump. New York supports congestion pricing, and it is working. Let me be clear. These attacks on congestion pricing are an attack on New York's sovereignty. New York has the right to govern itself, to implement policies that improve the lives of its residents, and to make decisions that benefit our infrastructure and our economy. Congestion pricing has undergone extensive environmental review. It has grown increasingly popular since being implemented in January. It has withstood a barrage of litigation in the courts and been upheld every single time. President Trump can't stop losing in court, and he knows he will lose again over congestion pricing. That's why he and his reality star-turned-transportation secretary, Sean Duffy, want to strong-arm us by threatening to cut funding for the MTA instead. Never mind the fact that the Federal Highway Administration has already granted approval to congestion pricing. The notion of revoking approval for a federal initiative of this magnitude after it has been granted is nearly without precedent. I firmly believe that there is no legal basis for Trump to unilaterally halt this program. The value pricing program is solidly established under federal law by the Ice-T Act of 1992, and its approval cannot be arbitrarily revoked, especially when it is clearly delivering tangible benefits. Simply put, congestion pricing is no different than New Jersey's ability to set tolls on the New Jersey Turnpike. They are legally indistinguishable. The bottom line is this. Congestion pricing is making New York better. We know it works. The numbers are in and better every month. Streets have less traffic, and commuting times into the city are dramatically faster. Even our good friends across the river are beginning to sing its praises. We have demonstrably faster emergency response times, cleaner air, safer streets, and fewer crashes. Crime in the subways is down in New York City, and the numbers prove it. All this while providing funding for MTA accessibility improvements and transit extensions like the 2nd Avenue subway. So to Trump, Duffy, and anyone else trying to derail congestion pricing, get out of the way. This train is staying on the tracks. Congestion pricing will continue. We will fund the MTA, and we will protect the rights of New Yorkers to make decisions about our own city. Thank you.
All right. All right, and before I introduce our council members who are here, let me just mention the advocacy groups that we have with us. We have folks here from Transportation Alternatives, from Riders Alliance, from New York Lawyers in the Public Interest, I think from New York League of Conservation Voters, National Natural Resources Defense Council, Regional Plan Association. Who am I missing? Oh, and the PCAC, the Permanent Citizens Advisory Commission to the MTA. Oh, and Reinvent Albany. All right, so let's hear it for all these advocates. It has been a long effort, but a valiant one, and one deeply on solid. We always knew it was on solid. We could put it on solid legal ground. We always knew it would work. Watching people embrace it and have it become more popular as it's working has been very gratifying, and it's really putting a spring in the step of the advocates stepping up this morning. We've got 3 great members of the New York City Council here who have all been longtime supporters of congestion pricing. Oh, Carlina, hello. All right, standing with the advocates. All right, great. That's going to get you first billing. All right, so New York City Council member Carlina Rivera.
Thanks. I don't always have to be all the way up front, but I just want to thank you. I want to thank you, Brad, for bringing us together. I want to thank all of my advocates and my colleagues. You know, as someone who's been doing this and really trying to put forward smart policy solutions for many years, it often takes a really long time to see the results of those policy changes and the implementation. But with congestion pricing, you've actually seen the improvements very, very quickly. And as someone who lives in downtown Manhattan, I take the bus, I take the train, I bike, I drive. It has been just a blessing to see how this has really benefited so many neighborhoods. I know that sometimes when you're doing something like this, comprehensive policy changes, it's not the most popular thing. and $9 is a lot for families. But to know that those funds that we're already seeing, fewer cars, better traffic conditions, a lot of the statistics and things that you're hearing about that are actually related directly to public safety, people feeling safer in the streets, and of course the funds going directly to the MTA because our public transit system is the great equalizer. There are people on those trains and buses from all walks of life, and we need them to get to our homes, our appointments, and of course our jobs. So I'm excited that there's also less honking, of course, but that we're seeing the improvements right away. And I will tell you that someone who grew up in the Lower East Side, those funds that are coming from congestion relief are already coming into the community. We are finally getting elevators at the Delancey Essex train station, something we have been fighting for many, many years, and that is going to make a big difference in the lives of low-income families and seniors at a very, very busy train station. So I want to thank all of the advocates that helped make this happen. I know there's a lot to do and a lot of things we actually haven't seen in terms of results, but they are on the forefront, they are coming, and I truly believe that it's going to be an improvement. And no matter what the federal government might say, this is something that New York City did. We live here. President Trump does not live in New York City. We live here, we see what goes on day to day, and we know what needs to be done, and we needed congestion relief immediately. So I want to thank all the advocates and everyone else for being here, and looking forward to seeing better results fast.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Rivera, for reminding us that those benefits are starting to appear before our eyes. I have been asking MTA President Lieber for like stickers that say brought to you by congestion pricing. Think about how popular it'll be when you start to see those improvements and understand where the resources are coming from. As the congressman said, this really is about the autonomy of states and cities to take action. And we have here 3 city council members representing residents in the congestion zone, really demonstrating that this is popular with the people who are hungry to have it. And next up, we'll have City Council Member Keith Powers.
Thank you. This amazing press conference is brought to you by our controller, Brad Lander. Thank you. I'm City Council Member Keith Powers, representing the Great East Side of Manhattan, including residents inside the zone and also, of course, residents outside the zone. 60th Street goes right through my borough, right through my district. I have a very, very clear message today, and that is a message from New Yorkers and this is a message from New Yorkers and a message from residents of Manhattan to Donald Trump, which is to keep your hands off New York City. Am I right? To Donald Trump, keep your hands off New York City. We don't want your policies. We don't want your interference. You don't have to agree with the proposal. You don't have to like every single detail of it, but it is our right to govern our own city and our own state. And that is part of what we are saying here today, is to make sure that we defend and uphold a successful policy that is working for less honking and less traffic in the borough of Manhattan and throughout the region, but also that New York City and New York State have the right to make decisions for ourselves. So Donald Trump, hear us as New Yorkers. I know you used to be one, but we are saying to keep your hands off New York City. So thank you, everyone who's out here today defending our right to govern ourselves, defending a policy that is demonstrating on the ground that it is working. And again, you don't have to like every detail or like every part of it. You don't even have to like it at all. But you should want New York City and our elected officials to govern ourselves and govern the city of New York in the way that our constituents are asking us to do that. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you to the great advocates who are out here. You are a big reason this happens in the first place and to continue to defend it. But we're here to defend New Yorkers who have been telling us this is working and they want it. So thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Councilmember Powers, and I think his point is also important. There are many of New Yorkers who, when polled, say, you know, congestion pricing's not my favorite, but I still don't want the federal government telling us what to do. So there is both the principle that congestion pricing works and the principle that New York gets to decide our local fate. From the east side to the west, we are also joined this morning by City Council Member Eric Botcher. Councilmember Botcher, thank you.
Thank you, Comptroller. Thank you, Comptroller. Thank you, Lander. It's been a long weekend, everyone. Thank you, Congressman Nadler. So, I am here representing Council District 3 on the west side of Manhattan, a district with some of the lowest car ownership in New York City. Around 8 in 10 of my constituents do not own cars. I also represent a district with some of the highest levels of traffic congestion in New York City, with some of the highest levels of air pollution from cars in New York City. And look, I think Council District 3, it's like the best place to live in New York City, but one thing we have is a lot of noise pollution as well. The good news is that since the implementation of congestion pricing, the noise complaints are down 45% from honking. That's because of congestion pricing. So here we have a policy that is reducing traffic congestion, reducing air pollution, reducing noise complaints. And now we have the Trump administration coming in to New York City and deciding to unilaterally roll back this policy. And look, whether you agree with it or not, you should agree that we should be able to set our own policies here in New York City. This is a direct attack on the sovereignty of New York City, our right to establish our own laws. So we are here, united, saying to the Trump administration, hands off New York City. Do not attempt to roll back our hard-fought policies that are gaining popularity every day. So I'm hopeful that this court case will establish once and for all that we in New York City can establish our own policies, and it is an illegal act to step in and roll back the laws that we have passed with our legislatures. I want to thank everyone here, all the great advocates. I want to thank all my colleagues for your leadership. Now let's go in and win this lawsuit.
All right, after a set of illustrious Manhattan elected officials, we're going to go to Brooklyn. Now, it seems to me that some people think that Councilmember Lincoln Ressler makes all the transportation decisions about New York City. And I wish it were true, because I trust him, and if he made those decisions, I know they would be wise ones. And I'm so glad you're here today, Lincoln.
Can we give it up for Brad Lander, truly? Brad has been the stalwart champion for congestion pricing that our city needs, and I'm really grateful for your leadership and this extraordinary coalition that's with him. And just as Brad said, there is no greater champion for transportation infrastructure, not just in the city of New York, but in the nation, than Congressman Jerry Nadler, the dean of our delegation. I really couldn't agree more with the comments from Carlina and Keith and Eric. Carlina said it exactly right. We are already seeing the benefits of congestion pricing each and every day. Congestion pricing is great for small businesses on the Lower East Side. It's great for the theater district. It's great for improving the air quality in Manhattan. It's great for reducing noise complaints. It's great for improving bus times. Congestion pricing is bringing real investments into our subways. And you know who else congestion pricing is great for? Drivers. Every driver I talk to who drives into Manhattan on a regular basis tells me how much they love it. The congestion that is disappearing before our eyes has been transformational. And we are going to fight and fight and fight to ensure that congestion pricing remains the law of the land. As our governor has rightly said, the cameras are staying on. You know, Trump's own attorneys know that they're going to lose this lawsuit. They said as much in a private memo that was released. And we are going to hold their feet to the fire and ensure that not only do we protect this law, but we protect our transportation dollars. There's no threat that Donald Trump or Sean Duffy can make against our city that's going to prevent us from doing our job and doing what's in the best interest of New Yorkers. And that's why we're fighting today, and we're going to keep on fighting to protect congestion pricing. Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to hear now from a couple of the advocates who are here before they go inside to be in the courtroom. First up, we'll have Ben Furness from Transportation Alternatives.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Comptroller Lander. Congressman Nadler and the entire City Council delegation. This is such an important fight. The greatest city in the world should have the greatest streets in the world. Congestion pricing is an amazing way to improve quality of life in Manhattan and all around the city. We're seeing money go into the transit system, which is so necessary for all of us. The streets are safer, the air is cleaner, noise honking is down. This is just an amazing way that New York City is governing itself, standing up for itself, and we're not going to let Donald Trump or Sean Duffy, two incredibly cruel and mean people, take this away and take away New York City's ability to do this for ourselves. So thank you all for being here today, and I'm so happy to be in this fight with all of you.
All right, and we're cheering on MTA Chairman Jano Lieber as he heads into the building. Go, Jano! He's all business this morning, as we want him to be. So, great. And one of the other advocates that has been fighting for so long here was one of the litigants in the case that helped get congestion pricing off pause and implemented is Riders Alliance. Delighted to have Danny Pearlstein here.
Thank you so much, Brad, and thanks so much, everybody, for being out here. You know, it was in the past decade that public transit riders won congestion pricing. Some folks might remember we rode the subway with a cardboard cutout of the governor as delays spiraled on the subway, quadrupling, from 2012 to 2018. And in 2019, we won congestion pricing. It was duly enacted by our legislature, and then it was exhaustively studied for years by the MTA and the federal government. So we know that all the I's were dotted, all the T's were crossed, and now it is working, and it is saving transit riders time. It is saving bus riders time on some of the slowest bus commutes in the country, from places like the South Shore of Staten Island, from Orange County in upstate New York, from the central part of New Jersey and the eastern edge of Queens. It is saving bus riders precious minutes every single day, and that's precious time we're not giving back. This spring and summer, more frequent bus service is also rolling out on dozens of bus lines that were service one last year in the legislature, 2 years ago in the legislature. We're not giving that back either. And of course, we're not giving back the accessibility improvements that Councilmember Rivera talked about. And we are not giving back the more reliable trains that we deserve that are now being bid out under Fulton Street in Brooklyn on the AMC lines. We're not giving back. We're not giving up. We sued last year and we sued again. And we're in court today. Our attorneys are here today from Earth Justice, shoulder to shoulder with the state, the MTA, and the city to show that a winning policy on the streets is also going to win in the courts. Thank you so much.
And part of what's been great about this coalition is bringing together advocates and strap hangers with lawyers who we have really needed more than I think we even thought we would, and continuing to. And New York Lawyers for the Public Interest have been one of the great groups of attorneys and legal experts helping us move forward time and time again. So it's my pleasure to introduce Christopher Schuyler from New York Lawyers in the Public Interest.
Thank you, Comptroller Lander, for the introduction. My message is short. Congestion pricing is crucial for people with disabilities and all New Yorkers. Congestion pricing provides the funding needed for accessibility improvements in the subways. It's also reducing traffic, allowing accessorized paratransit to travel faster to where they need to go. The federal government cannot be permitted to interfere with this state program that is working for all New Yorkers, including New Yorkers with disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. The advocates are going to go inside shortly, and we'll take some questions. I do want to say one thing first before we go in, since we're out in front of a federal courthouse, that the arrest by ICE and the effort to deport the student Dylan, who's a New York City public school student, is really just thank you very much to all our advocates who are here and who are headed inside the building. But I just want to say it's hideous to wake up in a city where you see public high school students being scooped up by ICE after going to a hearing in good faith without a lawyer, and then being duped into making a decision that lets them try to execute expedited deportation. It is appalling, and we are going to speak out about it as loud and clearly as we can. I just want to add, this is someone who needed legal representation. New York Immigrant Family Unity Project was designed to make sure that you don't face deportation without a lawyer. together, and we're going to do everything we possibly can to defend folks like Dylan and protect New Yorkers who are immigrants, who are students, and who deserve protection. We'll take questions. I'll take questions as people head into the building. I don't know, Congressman, if anyone has questions for us here. Any questions on the? Yeah, of course. Between immigration and congestion pricing, it seems like the Trump administration is targeting New York City aggressively. What is that like to deal with?
Well, they are targeting New York aggressively, but they're targeting other things aggressively too. They're targeting our entire university system. We have to fight them every day. We fight them in Congress. We just lost by one vote on this terrible bill. But it's no different than we've been fighting them since the day that he got sworn in. Every day a new challenge, every day a new outrage, every day a new challenge to the Constitution.
I'll just add, look, it's critical that New Yorkers stand up and fight back, and they want leadership who will. When Elon Musk stole that $80 million, that's why we called it out and got into court to go get it back. That's why we're hungry to have someone at City Hall that will stand up and defend immigrant New Yorkers, will defend congestion pricing, will defend Medicaid, will defend the Constitution. The congressman mentioned that bill passed by one vote, and there's one New York Congress member who voted in favor of it. And that's why we're going out tomorrow. One New York City Congress member who voted for it. That's why we're going out tomorrow night to do a town hall in Nicole Malliotakis' district, because she's kicking her own constituents off of Medicaid. She's wrecking New York's budget. New Yorkers are hungry for leaders who are going to stand up and fight. And speaking of New Yorkers who stand up and fight, and also New Yorkers who are carrying their Knicks charm around because they got to make sure that tonight's comeback involves the New York Knicks tying the series at 2 games apiece, New York City Public Advocate Jumaane Williams.
Thank you, sir. A little fatigued, but I'm here. Thank you so much. Peace and blessing, love and light to everyone. Thank you to the comptroller and to the Congress member. And I'm sure, as was mentioned, tomorrow the Trump administration is going to make good on its ransom note for NYC, telling us to end congestion pricing or they'll retaliate by freezing federal funding and permits for projects in Manhattan. And that means the entire city, including the entire city. Not only is this illegal overreach by an incompetent narcissist, but it's classic Trump, trying to undo something that works and rip funding from working class communities. Donald Trump doesn't decide what's best for our city streets. His efforts to reverse the progress we made in implementing congestion pricing amount to blackmailing our city, undermining the public transit system that New Yorkers rely on. I've always said that adjustments can and should be made, and they have to be considered as we move forward, as implementation continues. And I hope to work with the city and state leaders to monitor and improve congestion pricing as it moves forward. And it will move forward, no matter what Donald Trump says. Because the secret that Donald Trump doesn't want New Yorkers to know is congestion pricing is actually working. In the new review my office is releasing today, which we're about to drop off to DOT, we highlighted the facts. An average decrease of 7.5 to 16% in daily traffic with weekday average trips on on bridges and tunnels, showing a 10 to 30% reduction in traveling time can already be seen. Public opinion about congestion pricing is also improving, now that the benefits are becoming clear and the worst predictions are failing to appear. Crucially, the review finds 12.7% decrease in vehicular crashes below 60th Street, comparing from the 2024 and 2025 periods between January 5th and May 5th. There have also been an 8.75 drop in injuries and fatalities during the same period. Based on the available data, the dramatic effect that congestion pricing has on the lives of New Yorkers is very, very clear. But there is more we can do. Our report goes into that, and we're happy to share it with you. The Trump administration has threatened to pull federal funding for transportation projects at a time when we need to be investing in improving our systems, not grinding them to a halt. Someone needs to stand up for our city. I'm glad to stand with 2 other folks who are. And today I'm traveling around the 5 boroughs to hear from New Yorkers about their transit priorities, where our funds and attention should be going. We've already started on Staten Island and heard from folks who are actually, we heard some from folks who were not for congestion pricing, and now they are, now that they seem to benefit. They talk about security, but a lot about infrastructure that could be making its way better if we get this funding. New Yorkers who are on trains and buses and ferries every day, they know what we need. We're listening to them. We're looking forward to hear more, but we also see that it's working. And to be as crass as possible to Trump and the department, you either fund it or you fuck it. We prefer you choose funding it, please. We really need it. Thank you.
That's kind of mic drop, but you know, if you have questions, we'll we'll take them. Still on topic.
Any on topic?
Sorry.
No, you're good. That was good. You're doing all right. The Nixon least.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Congressman.